Welcome back to Your Money. Now to the moment a lot of you have been waiting for, the most expensive basketball card ever. It was hidden for decades and was recently found. Check it out.
Crosby is known as the antique capital of Minnesota. Pretty fitting, I'd say, as a collectible object that has a high value was just discovered there.
1 in a million doesn't even put it close to terms on what the reality of it is.
That's Caleb Baker. He's part owner of DK's Sports Card in Crosby and now co-star of the biggest card find of his life that began a few weeks ago.
Anyway, he calls me and I see this thing in person. I'm like, man, I'm trying to play it cool because I don't want to get his hopes up. You know, I don't want to be like, dude, this is going to change your life.
This is the life-changing thing. A 1961 Fleer basketball Wilt Chamberlain rookie card. I'll get to why it's life-changing in a minute, but first, the story of how the guy who had it got it.
His parents owned a grocery store when he was growing up. Him and his brother ripped a bunch of packs of cards and just stuffed them into a cabinet or a drawer within their grocery store. A bunch of years go by. His brother asked the father, hey, where are those old cards? What'd you do with them? Oh, I burnt them. They're gone. They went in a burn pile years ago. Don't worry about that, you know?
The old man was just kidding, but the brothers didn't know that until
the owner found them in the grocery store 60 years later.
And now here we are. 3 guys, 1 card, who needed the trading card world leader to take a look.
I said, let's grade this thing. I'll send it down to SGC in Boca Raton, Florida. They'll take care of it. They'll grade it. And if it grades super well, I'll fly down and pick it up.
SGC is one of 2 companies that grade cards' value based on the shape it's in. And remember, this card was shoved in a grocery store drawer for more than half a century by 2 kids. So SGC gets the card, and then...
Hey everyone, this is Peter from SGC, and I am honored to be introducing all of you to one of the most impressive trading cards that the hobby has ever seen.
The company graded the card from Crosby a 10 on a 10 scale. SGC has never, ever graded a card that well in its history. Meanwhile, back in Crosby,
the gravity of the situation started to hit me. I was at my grandma's house cooking for the whole family. And I just started crying to myself. I'm like, man, this is like, you read about this stuff never happens.
Caleb flew to Florida with his brother to get the card back from SGC. And it was then that SGC said a private buyer is ready to pay you $1.7 million for the card.
The highest vintage basketball card sale of all time.
All that was left to do was go tell the brothers back in Crosby.
I kind of told them the magnitude of this. And I'm like, listen, if this thing would have got an 8, it would have been worth 40 grand. And the wife's face was like, it goes, what do you mean 40 grand? Like, was just in shock. And I'm like, you guys might want to sit down for this. And so I tell them, you know, yeah, I actually sold it privately for $1.7 million. And then I told them, you're getting a check for this amount today. And it was just like hardworking blue collar guys, never took a day off in their life type people. And to just have this at the tail end of it all is pretty unbelievable.
I guess they don't call Crosby the antique capital of Minnesota for nothing. Jana Shortle, KARE 11 News.
So note to self, take some basketball cards, hide them for a few decades, and then tell my grandkids to go out and find them. That should net them a few $1 million, right?